This is all from somebody we have within the club. So basically, what we've been told this morning is that Manchester United, through intermediaries, have held talks with Conor Gallagher about a January transfer move. Now, whether that develops or not, we've got Ben Jacobs on the show at 2 o'clock, so we can ask him. But United have held talks with Conor Gallagher about a potential move in January. Now, let's see. What I would say, the cynic in me, I would say, well, we did try and sign him in the summer. So even just because you hold talks with somebody doesn't mean you're going to get them. I mean, I'd be disgusted if Man United hadn't held talks with Conor Gallagher about a January transfer, because it doesn't mean you do it. You'd sort of like go, what's the situation? Do they still want a deal? Could you come on loan? Would you be interested? You know, there might be a deal that United like that's completely not possible. I mean, we held public talks with Caicedo in August and we were nowhere near a fee with Brighton, so it didn't happen. So holding talks doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get anywhere. But I suppose, you know, to be honest, it's better than nothing. In relation to signings, I don't think we can say we should be getting Elliot Anderson. We should be getting the best striker in the world. I don't think we're that. I think you've got to earn that, and therefore I wouldn't look at a Conor Gallagher move in January and say I don't want that. I mean, obviously I know what I'd prefer. You'd prefer to go for more expensive, you know, glamorous, I suppose, signings, in the sense that, you know, Elliot Anderson would be more glamorous. But Conor Gallagher's got to be better than nothing, and he's got to be better than Mainu and Ugarte. If Amrin wants Conor Gallagher, you've got to go and do it. That's what I'm saying. Amrim's already doing a lot of things you don't like. We're not the manager. So if Amrin wants Conor Gallagher, and clearly he does because he wanted him in the summer, then Man United should do that deal. Regardless of what I or you think, they should do that deal. You know me, I'd be picking Mainu. Amrin doesn't want to. So it's not about what we think, it's about what the manager wants. And if the manager wants that midfield, we should be all over it. And it's definitely better than nothing. So, look, honestly, I'm not convinced that we're actually going to do anything in January, because I think we're run by the Glazers. However, I'd be all over Conor Gallagher coming in January. All over it. If it's Conor Gallagher or nothing, absolutely, 100% I would go and do this deal. I think there is... some people have said, well, you know, we did this before with Sabitzer. Sabitzer is very different. Sabitzer is never played in the Premier League before, and Conor Gallagher has. Conor Gallagher's got an outside chance of the World Cup. I think he'd come into a midfield in a Premier League side and be very hungry. I think he'd come into a midfield in a Premier League side and give it 100% every week, which is what he did at Chelsea. I don't think you've got any concerns about that. Ideally, you want this to be a loan deal, but I think it makes a lot of sense for Manchester United. He's still only 25 as well. Like, he's younger than Mason Mount, I think. So he's still only like 25. I just don't know whether United are you know what, I think sometimes when it comes to these sort of deals, you can hold talks with intermediaries, you can express interest, but you got to, you know, it almost feels like we won't do this deal because we're not going into it in the right way. We're almost going, well, we'll think about it. Do we really want to do it? And I think you've got to go and commit and go, no, we really want you. We really want you. And I agree with Ladios. He knows the Premier League and he would be good for us in the short term and potentially the long term. I mean, essentially what I'm saying is it's an open goal, isn't it? It's a short-term deal that there's no loss. If it doesn't work out, you work out a deal where you can send him back. If it does work out, you've got a bloody bargain. Like 25 years of age, £25 million. Come on. Premier League proven. And you need a squad. Again, I think this is where we arrogantly go wrong. You do need a squad. Like, you do. Like, even if we did miraculously sign Baleba and Elliot Anderson, then, you know, you're still going to move Casemiro on. God knows what's going to happen with Mainu. But I can see a world where you had a midfield four of Baleba, Anderson, Gallagher and Mainu anyway. That's literally what... And what if we sack Amrim? You need a midfield three. So I think four midfielders, we almost don't do ourselves a service sometimes. Like, we need 4 good midfielders, whether we play a midfield pivot or a midfield 3. And Casemiro's gone at some point. Bruno's not a midfielder. Mainoo's career is hanging by a thread, and I think Ugarte's pretty much done. So Conor Gallagher for 25 million, and then you supplement that with Anderson and maybe Baleba as well. If Mainoo stays, you've still only got 4. So I think that the arrogance of saying no completely and utterly ignores the fact that we need a major midfield rebuild, and we're not going to spend 80 million or 60 million on every midfielder. And I think Conor Gallagher, first in the door for 25 million or a loan deal, we get a good look at him and he's first in the door. And if he does well, he's part of the squad. I think we need a minimum of 4 good midfielders and people like maybe Thwaites or Kone or whoever coming through. So I think he's got a good character. I liked him at Chelsea. He's obviously been to Madrid, which I think very few British players go abroad. And I think most players that do go abroad tend to come back, you know, more experienced for it. I think there's a hidden gem there, actually. You know, I'm sort of talking myself into it. But my major concern is, as much as I know the source is very good, my major concern is you can hold talks, but talks don't necessarily go anywhere. And as we saw with Baleba, we held more than talks, you know, and it didn't go anywhere. So are United just paying a bit of lip service here to generate a bit of interest? Because as I said to the person this morning, and it's not that I don't believe you, but Manchester United literally mentioned social media interactions to shareholders. If United say we're not buying anyone in January, and United fans know it, the social media interactions go down. Even if they're not going to buy anybody, it's in their interest, and they've done it multiple times to link themselves to players to generate social media interaction. So I don't know. I don't know whether it'll happen, but 77% of you would be happy with Conor Gallagher, and maybe we've worked through that together. Maybe we have, you know, maybe we've worked through that together. But look, as I say, we can ask Ben Jacobs at 2 what he knows about it, but what we're being told is that talks have taken place through intermediaries for Conor Gallagher. Whether they're going to go beyond that into something more permanent probably depends upon Man United's appetite. But if you want to do this deal, for the love of God, please go into it 2-footed. Go into it with, we want you at Man United, and we want you in January, and we want you playing in our team, and we want you to get involved. Because if you want to do the deal, you've got to go and do the deal. Don't go into the deal going, don't know. Because I guarantee you, there will be clubs in the Premier League that do want him, and they'll go in hard for it. So, you know, let's wait and see what happens with it. But give us your thoughts on that.